Hi guys, this is Josh, and I am trying something new. I'm going to be trying to give some market updates on some of the bigger events, maybe when there's some buy or some sell signals that I'm seeing. So let me know if this is useful or helpful to you. Again, my heart of this is not to try to advocate my opinion too much, but just looking at the charts and what are some of the indicators trying to tell us, and hopefully this you find this beneficial. We have a big week ahead. We have FOMC on Wednesday and a rate decision. And when we're looking at the S&P 500, we've really recovered well from August 5th lows. And if there's one thing I could advocate for in this video that at least I'm advocating for, I don't think August 5th lows will be broken. I think this will be the absolute low for the market and for Bitcoin. When we're looking at um, FOMC this Wednesday, there's a 50% chance for 25 basis points or 50 basis points. I'm of the opinion that how much they cut is not going to matter, but the most important thing is how Jay Powell is going to phrase it. What's his tone? What's his vernacular? And I think that's what the market is going to pay attention to more than how much he's cutting by. One thing I do want to note is when we look at the future, it looks like we will be at about a 3% federal funds rate by September of next year, which is a huge rate cut cycle. We're talking about going from 5-ish percent down to 3%. This is going to be super bullish for risk on assets and for Bitcoin, which we're going to come back to that as I try to kind of give you the case for a 2025 bull market for Bitcoin. Some of you may know I do follow Fundstrat quite a bit. It is his opinion that we're going to be doing some back and filling here, just some consolidation through FOMC, and I believe that is the right perspective here. I think we could get above here briefly, but I do expect some consolidation here going into October. I'm not sure again. I don't know. Is the markets baked the rate cut in? I'm not sure, but I think there could be some time for some consolidation. I'm looking at Bitcoin here. I'm much more constructive on this chart now, seeing that the higher low structure has developed. Now, again, it's not, we could still go down, but I will say I think this is a pretty bullish setup. And the last part is if we can get above this high, the most recent high at about 65K. Um, but when we just put aside the technical structure of Bitcoin, this is something I kind of wanted to focus a little bit on, is we are exactly where we were in the last halving cycle. We were in this August, September time. We were yellow on the Tabby model, and here we are, August, September, yellow on the Tabby model. And we went from 10,000 to 60,000 last cycle. And here we are, perched right on last cycle's highs at 60,000. My goal here is maybe we don't need to put as much emphasis on the technical structure of Bitcoin, but just have a fundamental analysis because it's not Bitcoin's just not a TA asset. We have to look at the on-chain metrics, and I think that's what we need to use the Tabby model for. And I think it's right to be bullish going into end of year. And I also am of the opinion that um, the bull market could extend late into 2025 and not end in Q1 of 2025. When we look at the charts, this is something I saw on X, the charts are bullish. We're at max fear on crypto fear and greed. The RSIs have completely reset. Global liquidity is up, gold is up. So I'm not trying to be a perma here. I'm just looking at the charts and they're advocating for a larger move here in the next 30 days. Rect Capital has done a good job during the cycle, and they're of the opinion that we fully reset according to normal Bitcoin cycles, which leads me to believe it is possible that this bull market could continue into November of 2025. And when we look at Bitcoin returns to September, we flipped positive. So I do think we have a bullish setup. And I do believe that the election will provide the market the certainty it needs to rip higher. So I hope that's encouraging for you guys. Let's go back into TradingView. We'll go over crypto equities really quickly. MSTR looks very positive. I use 152 as kind of a pivot point of the lower range and the higher range. So Um, I like to be buying down here at 119 and selling or hedging at 170. Now, is this range going to break eventually? Absolutely. But I still try to buy in these areas and sell or hedge up in these areas. Um, one thing to know, IADSS, when you use the Heikin-Ashi candles on the 4 hour, it tends to do a really good job with some buys and some sell signals. I wouldn't be buying here. You can see mean reversion signal to buy here. We're right on the 200-day as well as confluence. And it looks like mean reversion might be signaling soon because of that huge pump we've seen on the news. MicroStrategy bought $1.1 billion of Bitcoin. So I probably would be hedging if anything here, but I just don't, I wouldn't be buying here. Wait for maybe pull back into the 130s and use you can maybe narrow it down to the 1 hour. And I would be waiting for perhaps, let's see what it looks like on the 2 hour. Yeah, I would be waiting for some buy signals here. I think it's a little overheated. And we can see that on the Bitcoin ARB cloud that yes, we're overvalued here. So wait for a pullback. They happen all the time. Clean Spark, again, I don't have heavy positions here, but I know some do. I would advocate keeping it 3 to 5% if you're buying here. And if the miners do what they're supposed to do, it's going to organically grow to 10, 12% of your portfolio because if we go from here and reclaim the highs here, we're looking at about 100% return. Um, the options have pricing have really improved, so that's positive. But again, this chart is still not my favorite. Trend is down. We really need to reclaim, honestly, $14. But I think a couple dollars at CleanSpark under 10, if the cycle plays out and we do go into November 2025, it could provide huge returns. But if you're the opinion that maybe we're ending in Q1 2025, it might be good to evaluate your CleanSpark position. Let's go to Tesla really lastly. Tesla here, I think it's good to be neutral. I'm not seeing any particularly bullish or bearish signs. Again, the 2 hour on IADSS has given some good buys here and good sells. Um, I'm seeing this small parallel channel. I wouldn't bet the whole account on it. Um, but I probably wouldn't be buying again here. I would be probably selling or hedging more in this area and waiting to buy more at the lower end. Um, when we're looking at Tesla and we're kind of trying to evaluate, this robo-taxi event and, um, what price do we need to get above to get some more bullish price action? The number that we really need Bitcoin to get above is 271. And the reason why it's 271 is because it was July highs as well as highs back in July and September of 2023. So I think the technical structure will really improve once we can get above 271. It will provide us the launch pad that we need to get to all-time highs. But I think earnings and the Robotaxi event, do I know if we're going to pump or dump? I'm not entirely sure. But I think right now I'm remaining neutral. And Fundstrat, they also cover Tesla. They have a very neutral thought on Tesla. Again, 271 being the number to watch here. But I do expect all of Tesla's returns to really occur late October into next summer. And I do believe it's possible to reach all-time highs in that time frame, but we really need to get above 270. Once we get above 270, it gives us the momentum to revert from being more of a downtrending stock as we have been for the past few years. We've been in this downtrend, and instead of being in the downtrend, we can start more of an uptrending technical pattern. So hope that's helpful. Let me know if that's helped you. I think again after FOMC this Wednesday, I think we might have a little bit of consolidation in Bitcoin and assets, but I think we have a very bullish setup going into November and December. Talk to you soon.